When I first had my stroke, I could only babble. And then I worked with a speech therapist, and then I got to talk about as good as my 3-year-old granddaughter, Kelsey. But one day, I said to Kelsey, my granddaughter, I said, Kelsey, say transcontinental. And she couldn't say it.
Evil in Hollywood isn't confined to the big screen. Some actors have real-life stories so dark that Hollywood wants them erased from memory. Here are the top 15 actors whose notorious deeds have Hollywood desperately trying to forget them. Get ready because this is going to be a wild ride. Number 15, Gig Young. Gig Young was the epitome of Hollywood charm. With his dashing looks and undeniable talent, he quickly rose to fame, becoming a household name in the 1940s and 1950s. Born Byron Ellsworth Barr, he took on the screen name Gig Young, and audiences loved him for his witty, often sardonic roles. His career highlights include an Oscar-winning performance in They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, where he played Rocky, a cynical dance marathon MC. His portrayal was so gripping that it earned him the coveted Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. But beneath the surface, Gig Young was a man haunted by demons. Despite his success, his personal life was a tragic contrast to his on-screen charisma. Young battled severe alcoholism, which marred both his career and relationships. His struggle with alcohol led to a breakdown during the filming of Blazing Saddles, resulting in him being replaced by Gene Wilder after suffering from delirium tremens on set. Young's personal life was equally turbulent. He was married 5 times, with each marriage ending in turmoil. His third wife, actress Elizabeth Montgomery, divorced him amid rumors of domestic violence. His 5th and final marriage to Kim Schmidt ended in a shocking and tragic event. Just 3 weeks after their wedding in 1978, Young fatally shot Schmidt before turning the gun on himself in a New York City apartment. The double murder-suicide left Hollywood stunned and remains one of the most chilling tales of a star's fall from grace. Gig Young's life is a cautionary tale of how the pressures of fame and personal demons can lead even the most celebrated figures to a dark and tragic end. Number 14, Michael Jace. Michael Jace was a familiar face in Hollywood, best known for his role as Officer Julian Lowe in the critically acclaimed FX police drama The Shield. His portrayal of a conflicted cop struggling with his sexuality earned him praise and recognition. In addition to his TV success, Jace appeared in several high-profile films, including Forrest Gump and Boogie Nights, solidifying his status as a respected actor in the industry. However, Jace's promising career and public persona as a family man came crashing down in a horrifying act of violence. On May the 19th, 2014, Jace committed an unthinkable crime in his own home in the Hyde Park area of Los Angeles. In a moment of terrifying rage, he shot his wife, April Jace, a talented and elite sprinter, in the back while their 2 young sons, aged 5 and 6, were present. As she lay injured, Jace cruelly shot her again in the legs, taunting her with words, "If you like running, then run to heaven." This horrifying act of violence was the culmination of Jace's obsession with the idea that his wife might be leaving him, fueled by his belief that she was having an affair and exacerbated by a day of heavy drinking. The case shocked the public and shattered the image of the once admired actor. Jace was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. During his trial, he expressed profound remorse. Despite his apology, the court found him guilty, and Jace was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. He is currently serving his sentence at California State Prison, Corcoran, with his legacy forever marred by his heinous actions. Number 13, Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers, the man behind some of Hollywood's most beloved characters, was a genius in the art of comedy. He lit up the screen as the bumbling Inspector Clouseau in the iconic Pink Panther series, delivering performances that have become timeless. Sellers' versatility allowed him to take on various roles, each one more memorable than the last, cementing his place as one of the greats in cinematic history. But beneath the laughter and brilliance, Peter Sellers was a deeply troubled individual. His personal life was marked by erratic behavior, mood swings, and a self-destructive nature that alienated many around him. Sellers' relationships were often turbulent, and his insecurities ran deep, impacting his work and those he worked with. Director Blake Edwards, who helmed the Pink Panther films, found Sellers to be an enigma, brilliant on camera, yet nearly impossible to manage off it. Sellers' eccentricity extended beyond the set. He was known to communicate with his deceased mother and carried her shrine wherever he went. This bizarre behavior often left his colleagues baffled and frustrated. His unpredictable nature caused significant delays during filming, and at times he refused to speak directly to Edwards, instead relaying messages through assistants. Despite the chaos, their collaborations resulted in box office successes, including 5 Pink Panther films and the 1968 comedy The Party. Yet, for all his successes, Sellers' dark side couldn't be ignored. His volatility and mental health struggles painted a portrait of a man whose inner demons ultimately overshadowed his comedic genius. Hollywood may remember the laughs he brought to the screen, but it also remembers the turmoil he left in his wake. Number 12. Johnny Lewis. Johnny Lewis was a promising young actor whose talent shone through in popular TV shows and films. Born into the Scientologist family, Lewis started his career in acting with roles in Scientology training films. He quickly transitioned to mainstream television, securing guest roles in well-known series like Boston Public and American Dreams. His big break came when he starred alongside Hilary Duff in the movie Raise Your Voice, which marked his debut in feature films. However, it was his role as Kip Half-Sack Epps in the hit series Sons of Anarchy that truly put him on the map. His portrayal of the loyal and conflicted character resonated with audiences, making him a rising star in Hollywood. But as his career began to flourish, Johnny Lewis's personal life spiraled out of control. After leaving the Church of Scientology in his early 20s, Lewis started exhibiting increasingly erratic behavior. Between 2011 and 2012, he was arrested 3 times, with charges ranging from assault to attempted burglary. His violent tendencies and unpredictable nature became evident when he attacked 2 men with a bottle, causing serious injuries. Just weeks later, he attempted to break into a woman's home, further highlighting his downward spiral. Concerns were raised by probation officials about his mental health and possible substance abuse, warning that he posed a significant threat to those around him. Tragically, Johnny Lewis's life came to a shocking and brutal end on September 26, 2012. He was found dead in the driveway of a Los Angeles home, while inside the house, 81-year-old Catherine Davis was discovered murdered. Investigations revealed that Lewis had killed Davis, using strangulation and blunt force trauma, before falling to his death from the roof of the property. The promising career of Lewis was forever overshadowed by this horrific crime. Number 11. Phil Spector. Phil Spector is best known as a legendary record producer who revolutionized the music industry with his wall of sound technique. He worked with some of the biggest names in music, including the Beatles, the Ronettes, and Tina Turner, creating iconic hits that defined a generation. Spector's influence on the sound of the 1960s and beyond is undeniable, with chart-topping tracks like Be My Baby by the Ronettes and You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling by the Righteous Brothers, cementing his legacy as a musical genius. However, behind the scenes, Spector's personal life was a stark contrast to his professional success. As his fame grew, so did his erratic behavior. Known for his reclusive nature and paranoia, Spector's actions became increasingly troubling. His obsession with firearms and his history of abusive relationships painted a picture of a man who was as dangerous as he was talented. The darker side of Spector's personality eventually led to a tragic and violent end. On February 3, 2003, actress Lana Clarkson was found dead in Spector's mansion in Los Angeles. Clarkson, known for her roles in films like Barbarian Queen and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, was shot in the mouth after accompanying Spectre to his home. The details surrounding her death were chilling, with Spectre's chauffeur testifying that Spectre emerged from the house holding a gun and allegedly said, "I think I killed somebody." Spectre was arrested and later convicted of second-degree murder in 2009. He was sentenced to 19 years to life in prison, marking the dramatic fall of a once-celebrated figure. Phil Spector died in prison in 2021, leaving behind a complicated legacy. While his contributions to music remain significant, his violent actions and the murder of Lana Clarkson have forever tarnished his name, making him one of Hollywood's most notorious figures. Number 10. Wallace Beer. Wallace Beery's public image was carefully crafted to portray him as a warm-hearted, everyday man, the kind of guy everyone would want to be friends with. This persona was meticulously shaped by studio publicity, making him a beloved figure on screen. But behind the scenes, the reality was far less charming. Fellow actors and crew members have shared stories that paint a much darker picture of Beery's true nature. Contrary to the friendly character he often portrayed, Beery was known for his harsh treatment of colleagues, especially young performers. One particularly troubling example was his physical aggression towards juvenile actors like Mickey Rooney. These incidents revealed a grim side of Hollywood's golden age, where the on-screen magic often hid an ugly reality. Despite the mistreatment, Mickey Rooney, in a surprising twist, expressed admiration for Wallace Beer. This reveals the complicated and nuanced relationship they shared, adding another layer to the already complex dynamics of working with Beer. Adding to the unsettling tales, Gloria Swanson's early experiences with Beer highlight the troubling power dynamics that were all too common in Hollywood at the time. Despite the significant age gap and Swanson's clear discomfort, Beery's influence was undeniable, casting a shadow over their interactions. Off-screen, Beery's demeanor was a far cry from the glamorous Hollywood image. He was often seen as unattractive and even repulsive, not just by the public, but by those who knew him well. Swanson's aversion to him underscores the stark contrast between Beery's public facade and his private reality, a reality that was anything but endearing. Number 9. Joe Sun. Joe Sun first gained attention in the world of mixed martial arts, despite a lackluster career with a 0-4 record in the UFC. Born in South Korea and raised in the United States, Sun's real claim to fame came not in the ring, but on the screen. He played minor villain roles in low-budget action films alongside stars like Lorenzo Lamas and Dolph Lundgren. However, his most notable role came in 1997 when he played the memorable villain Random Task in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. This role briefly put him in the spotlight, giving him a taste of Hollywood success. But behind his quirky on-screen persona was a deeply disturbing reality. In 2008, Sun was arrested for a minor offense, kicking in his roommate's car door. As part of the legal process, he was required to submit a DNA sample, which ended up linking him to a cold case from nearly 2 decades earlier. The crime was horrifying. On Christmas Eve in 1990, Sun and an accomplice kidnapped a 19-year-old woman who was out walking her dog. They held her captive, subjecting her to hours of brutal torture and rape. Sun even taunted her, saying he was giving himself a Christmas present. When the case finally went to trial, the statute of limitations on the sexual assault charges had expired, but Sun was convicted of felony torture and sentenced to 7 years to life in prison. But the darkness didn't stop there. Just a month into his sentence, Sun brutally murdered his cellmate, leading to another conviction for voluntary manslaughter and an additional 27-year sentence. Once known for his role as a quirky villain, Joe Sun is now infamous for crimes that are far more evil than anything Hollywood could ever script. Number 8. Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis, the comedic genius known for his slapstick humor and his partnership with Dean Martin, was one of Hollywood's most successful actors. Born Joseph Levitch in 1926, Lewis's rise to fame was meteoric. His films, including The Nutty Professor and The Bellboy, showcased his unique comedic style, making him a household name. His influence extended beyond the silver screen, inspiring generations of comedians like Jim Carrey and others, and influencing directors like Martin Scorsese. But behind the laughter, Jerry Lewis's life was marked by darkness. Dubbed the Dark Prince of Comedy, his personal life was far from the image he portrayed on screen. He battled drug addiction, stemming from a near-fatal back injury, which led to a 13-year dependency on painkillers. His relationships were equally tumultuous. Married twice, Lewis fathered 6 sons, but his parenting was marred by allegations of abuse. His youngest son, Joseph, accused him of routine physical and mental abuse, a claim that strained their relationship to the point where Lewis disowned him. Even in his later years, controversy surrounded Lewis. His infamous interview with The Hollywood Reporter in 2016, where he appeared cold and disdainful, left a lasting impression of a man who had become bitter in his old age. His telethons for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, which raised millions, were also marred by accusations of mismanagement. Jerry Lewis's legacy is a complex one. While his contributions to comedy and charity are undeniable, his dark side casts a shadow over his career. In the end, he remains a figure who, despite his flaws, secured a place in Hollywood history, both revered and reviled. Number 7. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was once the epitome of wholesome entertainment, the guy who broke barriers and became a beloved figure in America. Back in the 1960s, he made a name for himself with his role in I Spy, a TV series that turned him into a symbol of African-American success during the Civil Rights era. Cosby's humor, though often a bit corny, struck a chord with audiences, and his later success with The Cosby Show earned him the title of America's Dad. He wasn't just a TV star, he was seen as a role model, an activist, and a philanthropist. People trusted him. He was the face of brands like Jell-O and Coca-Cola. For many, especially in the black community, he was a hero. But underneath that charming, fatherly persona was a much darker side. Bill Cosby wasn't just the TV dad everyone adored. He was a serial predator who used his fame to exploit and harm women. Over 60 women have come forward to share their stories, revealing how Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted them. These consistent and horrifying accounts show a pattern of abuse that went on for decades, all hidden behind his celebrity status. The Showtime documentary, We Need to Talk About Cosby, dives deep into the contrast between Cosby's public image and the evil he hid in private. No matter the good he might have done, his legacy is now overshadowed by his actions. His release from prison on a technicality is a bitter reminder that justice isn't always served, but the truth about Cosby's crimes will never fade. Number 6. Fay Dunaway. Fay Dunaway's rise to fame in Hollywood was marked by unforgettable performances in classics like Bonnie and Clyde and Chinatown. However, her immense talent came with a reputation for being difficult and unpredictable, casting a long shadow over her illustrious career. Dunaway's infamous behavior became a topic of conversation both on and off the set. During the Broadway-bound play Tea at 5, she was abruptly fired amidst allegations of physical altercations and creating a hostile work environment. Reports from those who worked with her confirmed these allegations, revealing the challenging atmosphere she often fostered. One collaborator even recounted how Dunaway struck them for real during a scene, instead of performing a stage slap, further illustrating the difficulties of working with her. Her volatile behavior wasn't confined to the stage. Broadway wig designer Paul Huntley, who worked with her in 1996, described an incident where Dunaway slapped his assistant's hand out of dissatisfaction with hairpins, a small but telling glimpse into her demanding nature. Off-screen, Dunaway's conduct fueled Hollywood legends. According to the book Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, During the filming of Chinatown, she allegedly engaged in bizarre habits like urinating into trash cans and refusing to flush toilets in her dressing room. She reportedly even threw a cup of liquid, purportedly filled with urine, at the director Roman Polanski during a disagreement. When confronted about these claims, Dunaway dismissed them as absurd. Her behavior left a lasting impression on her peers. James Woods, who starred with her in The Disappearance of Amy, recalled her throwing an object at him for ad-libbing a line. Even Bette Davis, known for her own fiery temperament, cited Dunaway as one of Hollywood's most challenging personalities. Dunaway's legacy is marred by stories of chaos and conflict. Number 5, Ryan Grantham. Ryan Grantham's career started off on a promising note. As a child actor, he gained recognition for his role as Rodney James in the 2010 hit movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He continued to build his acting resume with appearances in notable films like The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, and he later took on a role in the popular CW series Riverdale in 2019. With over 30 acting credits to his name, Grantham was well on his way to establishing himself as a notable figure in the entertainment industry. However, beneath the surface of his rising career, a much darker side of Grantham emerged. On March 31, 2020, the 21-year-old actor shocked the world when he brutally murdered his mother, shooting her in the back of the head while she played piano in their British Columbia home. The chilling crime didn't end there. Grantham loaded his car with firearms, ammunition, and camping supplies, setting out on a disturbing journey. His initial plan was to assassinate Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, but after reconsidering, he contemplated committing a mass shooting at Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, his former school. Fortunately, he ultimately chose to turn himself in to authorities instead. Grantham's legal defense revealed that he was suffering from a major depressive disorder and cannabis use disorder at the time of the crime. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and expressed his intention to dedicate his life to rehabilitation and helping others. Despite this, the severity of his actions cannot be understated, and he won't be eligible for parole until 2036, after serving 14 years in prison. The once promising actor is now remembered more for his heinous crime than his early successes on screen. Number 4, Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney was one of Hollywood's brightest stars, shining from a young age as the charming, lovable lead in films like Andy Hardy and Babes in Arms. His youthful exuberance and undeniable talent made him a household name and a beloved figure on the big screen. Rooney's ability to captivate audiences as a child star was unmatched, and his transition into adult roles, though challenging, showcased his versatility as an actor. However, behind the scenes, Rooney's real-life persona was anything but the wholesome characters he played. Described by colleagues as abrasive, bombastic, and rude, Rooney's off-screen behavior was notorious in Hollywood circles. His unprofessional conduct made him difficult to work with, and his ego often clashed with those around him. A particularly troubling incident occurred during the filming of National Velvet in 1944, when Rooney's treatment of Elizabeth Taylor, then a teenage star, drew widespread criticism. Reports suggested that Rooney took advantage of Taylor and later denied even knowing her, dismissing her as entitled and questioning her talent. Rooney's personal life was also riddled with controversy. His 8 marriages, financial troubles, and struggles with substance abuse further marred his public image. Rooney's abrasive demeanor and egotistical attitude led to conflicts with co-workers, directors, and even fans, painting a stark contrast to the lovable characters he portrayed on screen. Moreover, Rooney's career faced a significant backlash due to his portrayal of Asian characters, notably in Breakfast at Tiffany's. His performance was criticized for perpetuating harmful stereotypes and exhibiting racial insensitivity, tarnishing his legacy even further. While Mickey Rooney's contributions to Hollywood are undeniable, his off-screen actions and controversial roles have cast a long shadow over his once glittering career. Number 3, Danny Masterson. Danny Masterson might be best known for his laid-back, rebellious character Stephen Hyde from That 70s Show, or his roles in Men at Work and The Ranch alongside Ashton Kutcher. However, beneath that charming on-screen persona lies a much darker reality that Hollywood would rather you forget. In 2017, the LAPD launched a shocking investigation after 3 women came forward with disturbing allegations of sexual assault against Masterson. They claim that between 2001 and 2003, Masterson had lured them into a false sense of security, drugging them at his home, and then violently raped them while they were incapacitated. Despite his vehement denials, the truth unraveled. Masterson was arrested in 2021 on 3 counts of forcible rape. His first trial in 2022 ended in a hung jury, leaving some in doubt. However, a retrial in 2023 delivered a damning verdict. Masterson was found guilty on 2 of the 3 charges. His sentence? A staggering 30 years to life in prison, with the faintest possibility of parole only after serving 25.5 years. Masterson is now serving his time at the California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo. But the story doesn't end there. All involved parties were members of the Church of Scientology, adding a chilling twist to this dark tale. The victims revealed that the church allegedly went to great lengths to protect Masterson, discouraging them from speaking out and even attempting to dissuade one woman from using the word rape at the church's celebrity center. The threat of excommunication loomed large if they contacted the authorities, adding a harrowing dimension to an already horrifying narrative. Number 2, Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas was far from just a Hollywood heartthrob. He was a force of nature on the silver screen. Rising from a troubled upbringing, he channeled his turbulent emotions into his acting, creating powerful performances that left audiences captivated. His iconic roles in films like Spartacus and Paths of Glory, Douglas became a towering figure in Hollywood, known for his intensity and dedication to his craft. His on-screen characters often walk the line between heroism and moral ambiguity, much like the man himself. However, beneath his celebrated career lay a darker side that Hollywood would rather you forget. Douglas's personal life was riddled with scandal and controversy. His reputation for being difficult on set was well known, with stories of him clashing with directors and co-stars. He famously fired the director of Spartacus after just 1 week, and his attempts to control the legendary Stanley Kubrick on Paths of Glory are still talked about today. But it's the allegations surrounding his treatment of Natalie Wood that truly tarnish his legacy. According to reports, a 15-year-old Wood was invited to Douglas's room, where she allegedly spent hours before being abruptly dismissed and threatened to keep quiet. This account, though never verified, resurfaced after his death, leading to a flood of accusations and a reevaluation of his legacy. While the truth remains shrouded in mystery, the mere possibility of such an event casts a long shadow over Douglas's achievements. In the end, Kirk Douglas was a man of contradictions, an actor of immense talent who helped shape Hollywood, yet also a figure plagued by rumors and controversy. His legacy is a complex one, filled with both greatness and deep flaws. Number 1, Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, once hailed as one of Hollywood's most talented actors, saw his career disintegrate after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct came to light. Once revered for his roles in films like American Beauty and House of Cards, Spacey's fall from grace was swift and shocking. In the Channel 4 documentary Spacey Unmasked, 10 men, including actor Daniel, recount their harrowing experiences with Spacey. Daniel recalls his alleged assault, describing Spacey as a soulless monster. The documentary provides a forensic examination of Spacey's rise to fame and the disturbing accusations that overshadowed his career. The allegations against Spacey span decades, from his teenage years to his tenure as artistic director of London's Old Vic Theatre, a position he held from 2004 to 2015. the documentary features victims who claim they were lured by Spacey's promises to help their careers, only to find themselves pressured into performing alleged sexual favors. These incidents reportedly occurred on set, where Spacey allegedly manipulated crew members into uncomfortable situations under the guise of running lines. One particularly disturbing allegation involves Spacey pushing his groin into the face of an old Vic employee while serving as the theater's director. Another account details how Spacey masturbated in front of an aspiring actor during a screening of Saving Private Ryan in a public theater, then attempted to coerce the victim into participating. While Spacey was acquitted of 9 charges in a London trial in July of 2023, the stories shared in Spacey Unmasked paint a damning picture of an actor whose legacy has been forever tarnished by these chilling accusations. And there you have it, the top 15 evil actors that Hollywood wants you to forget about. From shocking crimes to scandalous behavior, these stars have shown us that sometimes the darkness behind the glitz is just as glaring as the spotlight itself. But remember, the story doesn't end there. Hollywood is a world full of hidden truths and untold stories. If you thought this list was intense, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you're the first to know when we dive deep into more of Hollywood's dark secrets. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.